The door to my apartment flew open with such force that the handle punched a hole in the drywall. Orin stood in the doorway, his normally perfect hair disheveled, his custom Italian suit wrinkled from what I assumed was a long, angry drive. "How dare you, Zayden?" he snarled. I didn't look up from my laptop. "Hello to you too, Orin. Please come in." I gestured sarcastically to the space he'd already invaded. "You think this is funny?" He stalked across my living room, stopping at the edge of my coffee table. "Ziva just broke up with me. Out of nowhere. 2.5 years, Zayden. 2.5 years. Now I looked up, carefully arranging my face into an expression of neutral surprise. "That's unfortunate." "Unfortunate?" His voice rose an octave. "She said she needs space." "Space? And then I find out you two have been meeting for coffee." I closed my laptop and placed it on the cushion beside me. "How is your new corner office? The one that was promised to me after 5 years of 60-hour work weeks?" His jaw clenched. "This isn't about work, isn't it?" I stood slowly. "You went behind my back to Donovan. Played golf with him that weekend. Suddenly the promotion I'd been wanting for lands at your feet. That's business, Zayden. And this is personal," I replied coolly. "You crossed the line first." Orin's face flushed dark red. "You're going out with her to get back at me?" "I haven't gone out with Ziva in that way." This, at least, was true. "You know, we have been friends even before you joined us. So yeah, we've just been talking." "About what?" he demanded. I smiled thinly. "About you mostly." 6 weeks earlier, the sting of betrayal was still fresh as I packed my personal items into a cardboard box. Family photo, desk plant, the fountain pen my father had given me when I graduated college. 5 years at Westridge Financial Partners reduced to a single box and a title, Senior Analyst. That should have been Director of Operations as of this morning. Instead, that title now belonged to Orin Delgado, my best friend since business school. The same Orin who had called in sick last Friday to play golf with our CEO. "Zayden, I need those quarterly projections by the end of day." Orin's voice carried across the open office floor before he appeared in my cubicle doorway. When we'd started at Westridge together, we joked about how one day one of us would be giving orders to the other. It wasn't funny anymore. "They're in your inbox," I replied flatly. "Sent them an hour ago." "Right." He lingered awkwardly. "Listen, dinner tonight? Ziva's been asking about you. Says you've been ducking her texts." Ziva asked her. His girlfriend of 2.5 years. Brilliant architect with eyes that made you feel like you were the only person in the room when she looked at you. She'd been my friend first, before I'd introduced her to Orin at my 31st birthday party. The immediate chemistry between them had been undeniable. I'd stepped aside without a word. "Can't tonight. Deadline." The lie came easily. Orin nodded, adjusting his new designer watch, a congratulatory gift from Ziva for his promotion. "Rain check, then. Listen, I know things are awkward right now." I said nothing, just continued packing. "This doesn't change anything between us," he continued, lowering his voice. "I didn't ask for this. Donovan approached me." Finally, I looked up at him. "And you said yes. It's business, Zayden." "Sure." I forced a tight smile. "Congratulations again." After he left, I pulled out my phone and stared at the last text Ziva had sent 3 days ago. "Heard about what happened. That's bad. I am sorry. Want to talk? Coffee tomorrow?" I'd ignored it, not wanting to drag her into the middle of whatever was happening between Orin and me. But now, looking at the empty space where my nameplate used to be, I typed a response. "Free tomorrow at Rainway Cafe, 9 a.m.? Ziva was already there when I arrived, 2 steaming mugs on the table in front of her. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy bun, revealing the sharp lines of her cheekbones. She'd always been beautiful in an effortless way that made other women both envious and drawn to her. Men simply became idiots in her presence. "You look exhausted," she said as I sat down. "Thanks. I mean it." She pushed one of the mugs toward me. "When's the last time you slept?" "Define sleep." She frowned. "Orin said you've been taking it well." "Did he?" I sipped the coffee. "Perfect dash of cream, no sugar." She'd remembered. And what else does Orin say about me these days? That you're being professional. That you understand. She tilted her head, studying me. But you don't, do you? Would you? No, she answered immediately. I'd be plotting revenge. That startled a genuine laugh out of me, my first in days. Is that what you think I'm doing? Aren't you? I set down my coffee. Orin and I have been friends for 12 years. He knew what that promotion meant to me. My father. I stopped myself. Your father never thought you'd amount to anything, she finished softly. And this was going to prove him wrong. I'd forgotten how much I'd told her in the early days of our friendship before Orin. How easily I'd opened up to her. Orin knew that, I said. She sighed as she nodded, looking down at her cup. Yes, he did. We sat in silence for a moment. How are things with you two? I asked finally. She traced the rim of her mug with one finger. Different lately. He's working later. More distracted when he's home. She looked up at me. He's turning into someone I don't recognize. Power changes people. Does it? Or does it just reveal who they've always been? I had no answer for that. Our coffee meetings became a weekly ritual. Always early mornings, when Orin was already at the office. Always with the unspoken understanding that he wasn't to know. It wasn't about plotting or scheming, at least not at first. It was just conversation, the rediscovery of a friendship that had been sidelined. But something was shifting. I could feel it in the way her eyes lingered on me, in the casual touches that seemed to last a beat too long. I told myself I was imagining it, that it was just my wounded ego, looking for any victory over Orin. Then came the day she showed up at my apartment unannounced. Ziva. I stood in my doorway, surprised. What are you doing here? Can I come in? Her voice was tight, controlled in a way that suggested she was holding something explosive at bay. I stepped aside to let her pass. She paced my living room for a moment before turning to face me. I found something, she said, on Orin's laptop. Okay. Emails. Between him and Donovan. From 2 months ago. The timeline immediately clicked into place. 2 months ago, well before the promotion was announced. Before Orin's sudden interest in golf. They planned it, she continued, her voice shaking with anger now. Orin pitched himself for your job. Suggested they move you laterally instead of up. Said your emotional investment in the position might cloud your judgment. My stomach clenched. Why are you here and telling me this? He's your boyfriend. Not anymore. Because I'm done. She moved closer, her eyes fierce. I'm done pretending I don't see who he really is. And I'm done pretending that there's nothing going on between us, because there is. I know for sure. Ziva. Just tell me. Isn't it true? She challenged. I should have lied. Should have respected the boundaries of friendship, tarnished as they were. Instead, I said, it just is not from these days. But I've felt it since the day we met before Orin came into picture. Her breath caught. She stepped closer until I could smell her perfume, something citrusy and clean. For a moment, I thought she might kiss me, but she stopped just short. I'm still with him, she whispered. I know, but I won't be for much longer. 2 weeks later, Orin and I sat across from each other in a sterile conference room, reviewing quarterly reports with the rest of the management team. He'd been avoiding me since his confrontation in my apartment 3 days earlier, after Ziva had broken things off with him. These projections seem optimistic, Donovan commented, flipping through the presentation I prepared. They're realistic based on current market trends. I replied. The data supports. The data can be interpreted numerous ways. Orin interrupted. I think we need to be more conservative here. Our eyes locked across the table. This had been our dynamic for weeks now. Him undermining me at every opportunity. Me refusing to back down. Actually, said a voice from the doorway, Zayden's projections align with what we're seeing across the sector. Ziva stood there, portfolio in hand. As a consulting architect for our newest branch offices, she occasionally joined these meetings, but her appearance today was unexpected. Orin stiffened visibly. Ziva, I didn't realize you'd be joining us. Last-minute addition, she replied coolly, taking the empty seat beside me. I have those design modifications you requested, Donovan. I could feel Orin's eyes burning into us as the meeting continued. Every time Ziva supported one of my points or leaned toward me to share a document, his jaw clenched tighter. After the meeting dispersed, he cornered us in the hallway. "Enjoying yourselves," he hissed. "This is a workplace, Orin," Ziva replied. "We're working." "Right. Just like all those coffee meetings, we're just talking." I stepped slightly forward. "You should get back to your corner office. Those operations won't direct themselves." His eyes narrowed. "You think you've won something here? You think taking her from me evens the score?" "I wasn't yours to take," Ziva cut in sharply. "And this isn't about you." But we all knew that wasn't entirely true. This had started as my small victory in a war Orin had initiated. What it had become was something else entirely. Present day. "You snatched her from me," Orin said, still standing in my living room, his anger now simmering rather than boiling. "To get back at me." "No," I replied. "I reconnected with her. There's a difference. And the fact that it hurts me is just coincidence." I considered lying, then decided against it. At first, no, it wasn't a coincidence. I wanted you to feel something, anything, close to what I felt when you stole that promotion from under me. His face contorted. "So you admit it." "But then something changed," I continued. "I remembered why Ziva and I were friends before you came into the picture. I remembered how it felt to talk to someone who actually listens. Spare me the romantics, Zayden. This was calculated." "Maybe it started that way," I conceded. "But do you want to know what Ziva and I really talked about all those mornings?" He said nothing, just glared. We talked about you. About how much you'd changed. How the ambition I always admired in you had curdled into something ugly." I stepped around the coffee table until we were face to face. "She showed me the emails, Orin." He blanched. "What emails?" "Between you and Donovan. Planning how to edge me out months before the promotion was even announced. My emotional investment, remember? That was your phrase." His silence was confirmation enough. "So yes," I continued, "when I first started meeting Ziva for coffee, it was about hurting you. About taking something you valued, since you'd taken something from me. But then I realized I didn't want her, because she was yours. I wanted her, because maybe she should have been mine all along." The fight seemed to drain out of him all at once. He sank onto my couch, head in his hands. "I did it because I was scared," he said quietly. "You were always the better analyst, the better friend, the better man. I knew if it came down to a fair fight for that position, you'd win. So you made sure it wasn't fair." He looked up at me, and for a moment I saw the friend I'd known for 12 years, before ambition and insecurity had warped him. "Where is she now?" he asked. "At her place. Packing for Paris." I sat in the armchair across from him. "There's an architecture firm there that's been courting her for months." "And you?" "I gave my notice at Westridge yesterday, starting at Archer Capital next month." He nodded slowly. "As what?" "Director of Operations." A bitter smile crossed his face. "Of course. Ziva doesn't leave for 2 weeks," I said after a pause. "I'm going with her. We're going to see if whatever this is between us is real or just collateral damage from what happened with you." Orin stood, straightened his jacket. The banker's mask slipped back into place. "I suppose I had this coming." "It wasn't supposed to be like this," I said. "Any of it." "No," he agreed. "It wasn't." He walked to the door, paused with his hand on the knob. "Is it worth it? Knowing how it started?" I thought about Ziva, her sharp mind, her quiet strength, the way she saw through both of us with such clarity. "Some things that start for the wrong reasons can still end up right," I said finally. He nodded once, then left, closing the door quietly behind him. I stood alone in my apartment, thinking about choices and consequences, about how sometimes you have to lose everything you thought you wanted to find what you actually need. My phone buzzed with a text from Ziva. "Finished packing early. Dinner tonight?" I typed back, "Your place. I'll bring the food." Some scores can never truly be settled. Some friendships can never be fully repaired. But as I grabbed my keys and headed for the door, I realized that maybe that was never the point. The real victory came after. The chance to build something genuine you thought had lost forever.